cold in this house. All right. Microphone should not be picking up, and it is not. It's picking up me, not the music. I still want to hear some stuff. What's going on, everybody? Where the hey who y'all been at? I've been looking for you. I couldn't find you. So we're back to this. However, tonight, let me back up. Last night, I did some filming. I did some final play testing under the lens of the camera. But I decided in the end not to put that up. It was an odd night. It was an off night. And some of the things that I was testing didn't work. I chucked them. I revised these damn rules yet again. But that said, they're about done. So these rules here, black hat is what I've been calling them. They're essentially done. That said, you would think I would be using these tonight. I am not. You are incorrect. I'm going to give myself a break. Actually, I've had a break. I went down kind of a hole with other things, which is good and bad, and I came back to this with fresh eyes and seeing things from a different perspective. That's all great. But also, I was a little slow, and the flow of things last night wasn't very well, so I thought, I wouldn't force anybody to watch this, so I didn't put it up. But tonight should be better. It is, what is this, Monday night? And not much else going on a Monday night. Not much going on otherwise anyway. I mean, everything's like you can go to a bar or hear live music anymore, so can't meet anybody unless it's on an online dating app, and that's hit or miss. A little of both for yours truly. So let's hop right into this. This is the aforementioned, much touted Grossbeeren scenario that I've been wanting to get to. This is the Prussians and the French, as if I have decided to do so. The intro to this video should have informed you. Thus, you should be aware of the historical background, victory conditions, which are 10 victory banners, special rules, which include 2 towns and this Windmill Hill. That's that. This was 1813, so a couple years before the end. And this is part of the, I guess you could call this arguably part of the Leipzig campaign, the road to Germany. And so again, to reiterate, even though these rules are essentially done, I'm just going to set them aside, and for nostalgia, old time's sake, give myself a break. I'm gonna play this pretty much the way it's meant to be played. Not 100%, but I do have the cards down here on the this ledge that extends out beneath the table. I still will adhere to the combat system, but everything else is going to be commands and colors. So yet another oddball thrown your way. Let's see. Camera angles probably will not be to everyone's liking. I've gone with something a little different. I've got the main camera. From kind of, if you think of yourself as just a lone soul on a hill watching the battle unfold, that's kind of the vibe I'm trying to pull here with this. And the smaller screen in your upper left is, of course, the overview. You want to think of yourself as an eagle or a hawk flying above, watching all the goings-on, so that's fine with me. So, who goes first in this? This would be the French go first. For the French, let's deem Let's name this side of the French and see what cards we have. 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have Scout right flank, Probe right flank, Scout right flank, Assault right flank, and I did shuffle the hell out of these. Attack left flank. I mean, I don't know that I could shuffle these any better. So the fact that I have 4 cards on the right out of 5 is apparently random. So what do I want to do? With my opening move, this would be Assault right flank. Order number of units or leaders on the right flank equal to the command of the cards held in your hand, including this card. So let's do 5 on the right. How about that? Sound all right with everybody? And my right would be that side. Take that back. My right flank is not flush. I only have 3, so it won't benefit from using that card. But the left flank is thick, so let's do that instead. I digress. 1, 2, 3. 2 artillery units and a line unit. Let's move 2 and not battle, right? 2 and not battle, line infantry. No, line's just 1. Light could. What I'm trying to do is reach this. Take this off. Jacket. You should have seen me dressed for work today. I look like a mess. You ever seen that movie The Thing by John Carpenter? With the green furry hooded coats. That's pretty much what I wore all day. I've just been freezing. Go ahead, laugh. I know it's the South. How cold can it get here? Well, lately, at night, it's been 39 degrees. So for us down yonder, that's like, I would say, what, 19 degrees for you guys up above? So that's cold. End of story. Let's move him here. 1. That would be 1 of my 3. Move him here. 2. Now he has artillery unit within range, so he can fire and move these grenadiers. Can we move 1 as well? Let's move them towards Windmill Hill. Fire with these guys at half firepower. That's 2d10. Looking for... What you looking for? Looking at my gut for... This would be... 1s or 2s would be nice. 3s or 4s, I'll take. We get 2 3s. So, in my rules, here's an on-the-spot decision. That would be 2 levels of shock in commands and colors rules, and that would lead to other things, potential breaking and routing. In my version, there's no withdraw 1, withdraw 2, withdraw 3. It's very gamey, in my opinion, which is what commands and colors is. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little too gamey for me. One, type based on type unit determines how far they'll retreat in combat, and it's just too gamey. So I chucked that, took it out, but I think I'll leave it out. You know that? Now that I mention it, I think I will leave that out. Do this instead. Now let's use these. Too many decisions, too many options, too many choices. We are condemned to decision. Even if we choose not to decide, we've still decided. All right, so that's that mattress. All right, so they're done. A long-winded opening French move. Thank you for your patience. And that's it. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Actually, that brings us to the Prussians. What do the Prussians have? The Prussians have a bit more variety. Now, they have an assault center, scout center, probe right flank, bayonet charge, and elan. Ooh, elan. I think I will use assault center, which allows me to use all 5. Is that correct? Yes. All 5 cards in my hand. In my hand? Yes, my hand. Alright, so... Well, that's going to be so irritating if I find out that this mic is picking up this damn music. It's done that before. But I've got it way low, just so I should be able to hear it and not you guys. 5 units. Will I remember who I move if I do it this way? Let's see. Center. Here's center. Looking like this. Wow, line can only move one. It's a race to the windmill hill. If I go there, I can fire. So let's do that. You know, call me crazy. Well, I am just too absent-minded not to do this. I've got to mark who I move so I can remember that they need to fire, etc. One there. That's one of my 5. I'm going to assume militia, infantry. Yeah, they can only move 1 as well. It's just the light that got that swift maneuverability. Swift inherent fleet of foot. Just the light. There's 2. Reserve infantry, of course, only 1. That's 3 units. And that leaves 2 more. We can move this line unit up and he can fire as well. Half strength. 4. Should we move the artillerie de foot up or der light? What are... No. You know what? I'm moving the light. I'm not going to move them 2 though. Because I think it's 2 and not battle for the light. So now anybody that has line of sight can fire, which would be this line unit, and this light infantry unit. Not a bad deal. And the light infantry unit should be light infantry. We got 1 or 2 in that battle. Plus 1 die. Okay. We're good there. Oh, who is that? That is line and their strength of 4, so that's just 2. Rolling on this chart, we get a hit and we get a miss, so nothing. 4 becomes a 3. Say, Jason, will you be playing all this game tonight? Good question. Glad you asked. Probably not. But that's okay. Everything's going to be all right. No battle back on ranged combat, right? Right. So it's just the Prussian delight right now. Chowing down on some French crullers. Who's this? More lines, so that's just 2 as well. Let's see what they get. They get 5 and 8, so really just 1 level of shock. Here. 1 level of shock here. And the light infantry are going to get 2 plus 1 just for being who they are. Isn't that always so nice when that happens? There's a hit and 2 levels of shock. Make it so, Captain. 2 hits. 2 hits. Wait. Yeah, 1 hit, so that 4 becomes a 3. And what did he say? 2 levels of shock? Let's go back and check the tape. Yeah, 2 levels of shock. Yes, no, maybe so, yes. Okay, what's next? Next would be draw a new card. And go back to the French, right? Wow, okay. I did get an Assault Center card last draw. So I can do 5 in the center as Le French. I think I'll do that after I take a swell. Of this alluring elixir of the gods. The result of their greatest collaboration, that being Guinness. 5. Let's do 5. Even though you chewed up some of my guys here, like a dog on a chew bone. 1, 2. Definitely doing that. Center. 3. Oh, looks like the French are going to get the initiative and take Windmill Hill first. King of the Hill scenario here. And what is it, 5? I don't know, you say 6, 3? You guys remember the little show, Jerky Boys? Oh my God, I used to get a kick out of that. Let's do it over and over. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and move. French do effectively take Windmill Hill. Exciting. Stone the crows and stop the presses. The French have taken Windmill Hill. Alright, that's that. That. Man, these 1-hex moves are brutal. Makes sense though when you have such a confined play area surface. And come on up. How's the air up there? Keep him there. That there. Why is it like that? It's not. I know he didn't get 5 levels of shock. Alright, so there's that, and then ooh, keep him here. Alright, so let's fire with him first because he didn't move. So that's 3. He gets a hit and a shock. This light infantry unit becomes a 3 and receives a jolt of electricity. Shock. There's your shock. How does it feel? It doesn't feel too good, does it? See? That's how you do there. They're done. Delphine. Okay, what's next? Next is, do I get, I'm used to my rolls, not these rolls. Oh, no, you don't get a bonus for firing downhill. But you get a bonus, you get a penalty for firing uphill. Okay, whatever. Be that way. Let's fire with these guys. It's going to be 2 dice. And my rolls, you get a bonus for firing downhill. 5 and 5 is 2 levels of shock. 2 levels of shock there. And into that. Then we have 2 more coming here. He doesn't need that. He's nothing he can do that he hasn't already done. And he gets Nishta. Absolutely nothing. See you later there. And then this guy here, these grenadiers. These deer grenadiers. Oh, really? Yeah, okay. 2 dice. Jeez, bad rolls that round, bad rolls, nothing. Pretty much bad rolls. On these little white tiny dice at work, which are great for unit strengths. Those I made quick work of those for them to use. Those are awesome. And that's the end of the French. Now we go back, draw a new card, go back to the Prussians. We have some of these tactics cards. Fire and hold, issue an order of 4 or fewer infantry and or artillery units. Ranged combat, yeah, that sounds great. Ranged combat with 1 additional die. I will do so accordingly. Thank you, thank you. Ranged combat with 1, really? It's a mighty generous card. Ranged combat with 1 additional die. Can you do ranged? No. So here's a consideration. It's not going to be ranged combat wherein this card will be of much use. Either I'm out of range or I'm adjacent. which means melee. So we'll wait on this card, otherwise I'd use it. No offense, card. Bayonet charge is what you want. Issue an order to 4 fewer infantry units. Units may move 2 hexes and still battle in melee. May not engage in ranged combat. Issue an order to 4 fewer infantry units may move 2 hexes. May move 2 hexes, so you don't have to. Guard infantry battle, 1 additional die. Well, this card doesn't do me much good other than allowing me to activate 4 units. So I'm going to use it, but I don't get a bonus for using it. And you can still move in battle. Well, I'm not even sure that's in my benefit to do, but enough him and Holland. Let's do 1, 2, 3 here, and then 1 more. I don't have anybody else adjacent, but again, you can move up to 2 hexes in battle. If I put him here, he's going to be adjacent to 3, count them, French units. That's a bad idea. If I put him adjacent here, that puts him within range of technically 3, although they're flanking each other here. 2, so that's a bad idea. I'm leaving it at 3. I don't want to hear any more about it. If you guys don't like it, you can write your congressman and see what they have to say. See what their thoughts are on the matter. See how interested they are. Bayonet charge. There's the card. That's done. Okay. Here come the pain. 4 dice, starting from my left to right. This is line infantry. Prussian line infantry gets no bonus. Ha! Just 4 dice, and they're battling uphill, so that's -1. Now it's 3 dice. Town battling into. You know what? It's actually cut in half because of the windmill hill. Now it's 2 dice, and what do they get? They get 2 hits. Luckily, they only rolled 2 dice, so cut him in half. 4 strength. Line infantry unit on Windmill Hill is now, then there were 2. He's done. We're going to attack the same unit with this reserve infantry nonsense. And it's just going to be 2 dice as well. And they rolled horribly, but they did get a shock on him, so now he's at 1 shock and 2 strength. If he gets over his more shock than strength, then he will break and retreat, but not before. None of this withdraw 1, move up 1, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. None of that nonsense anymore. And then these guys here. Oh, I'm not doing a battle back. Jeez whiz. All right, let me finish with this guy, and then I'll do my battle backs. And they all... What about just a hill? Just -1. So they're going to do 3 dice. Pay attention, pay attention. We get a hit, and we get another hit. 2 hits. So... just 2 strength, right? I mean, am I wrong? All right, battle backs. Not a lot going on here, but enough. We have 2. We have a line infantry that will battle back with a strength of 2, so that's 2 dice plus 1. Again, because of who they are. A 10 is a nothing. 5 is a hit, and 3 is a hit. So this 4 goes to a 2. And as I'm doing this, here's how my brain works. I think, oh, here's another way you could do this. Here's another way you could do this. Stuff like that over and over. What's another way you could do this? Well, I noticed that I got hits but no shock. And another system I'm fond of, one or more hits results in one mandatory shock. And then I think maybe I should implement that system. Always like this. Now here's something interesting. Yeah, you battle back from each guy that attacks you, right? Yes. I mean, it sounds weird, but that's how it works. So now I'm going to battle back against that unit. And I need one more die. Check this out. You ready? 3 hits. That 4 is now a 1. That's some hell of a battle back stuff going on there. And then this guy, 2 plus 1 is 3. Battling back gets 10. Don't count that roll, even though it would have been a hit. We're already at 2 hits. Can he roll a third? He cannot. It's cocked. Is it a 10 or is it a 10? Okay, so 2 hits. This 4 becomes a 2. Uh-oh. They're right on the threshold of breaking. With a strength of 2 and a shock level of 2. Going to be interesting. That was the Prussians. A long Prussian turn. Long-winded, jaw-flapping turn for the Prussians. 3, 4, here's 5. Probe left flank. Nope. French. Assault right flank. We still have that assault right flank, which... We have a tactics card that will allow us to move units attached to leaders, but only half the French leaders are attached to units, which is weird. Assault right flank I've already talked about. Let's go with probe right flank. Just a little probe, that's all. Just relax. Got 2 probe right flank. Why is my right flank so weak? This is bothering me. So 1, 2, and not battle. They're going on the hill. They can only move 1. There's my 2. Done. Draw a new card. Go to the Prussians. What is Elon? Oh yes, that thing. Elon is where you roll the battle dice, and depending on what you roll is what you activate. 1 unit of this type is ordered. 1 unit of... You know what? Here's what I think of Elon. I'm redrawing. Flank attack. Ooh, even better. So, Prussians will get 2 on their right and 2 on their left. So that's 4 total. Reserve infantry can fire, light infantry can fire, that's what we'll do. That way we don't spark battle back and fire at half for moving. Strategy. And then we have a lot of units here that need to move up, which is what I'll do. Artillery would love to fire, but I'm not going to do that thing where a third of my army just sits in a corner unactivated. Not happening, so they'll move there. Oh, he can fire anyway. And these guys will move up here. Cannot fire, so they're done. And, ooh, there we go, our first tree to fall over. It isn't a real game until a tree falls over. Now we've got a game going, fellas. Thought it never happened. Thought we were going to go a whole night without a tree falling over. Just wouldn't have been the same if okay. I'll shut up about the trees. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Start this way. They moved. They fire at half strength. That means 2 dice. A 7 and a 1 is just a hit. I say just a hit, but now this unit here is half strength. So they could, just a hit is something they could ill afford. Just one hit, just one fix. Two, these are anything special? Yes, there's something special. There's a light infantry. Let's fire with him first. That's 2. 3, -1 is back to 2. Got the hill there. 6 and 4. 4 is shock. Flak. And then, yeah, he's got line of sight. And then this guy here is just going to be 2. Just 2. -1 for the hill is 1. And he gets a shock. Shock is now 2 with a strength of 4. Boom. They're done, right? Yes. Prussians have finished their turn. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the French. Sit break. I don't know if you guys have ever heard me talk about or listened to the helicopters, but just rock and roll, man. There's nothing really special about it. It's just great rock and roll from Sweden. Those guys have been around for a while. But I've got it bad. It's been nothing but the helicopters for off and on for years, but lately, daily. Also like to listen to the helicopters while I play online chess, which I'm now addicted to. Thanks, Kim, for that. If I lose, I get mad and have to play again. If I win, I get excited and have to play again. Either way, I have to keep playing. It's bad. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, or I actually have a problem with online chess now. It's not good. I'm trying to wean myself off of that a little bit. Of course, having played chess at the library, running the chess program, but it's different when you play face to face. And you know, it's based on whoever shows up to play, and it's just a Saturday. Now it's like, at any point while I'm at home or I technically at work, I just log in and I can play anybody around the world. And I would say a little over half the time I win, but a little less than half the time I lose. I get my lumps, that's for sure. Where are we at? We're with the French. Leadership. Ooh. Can we do this? Means we move up to 3 hexes and not. Let's do this bombard deal for the French. And I've got issue an order to 4 or fewer artillery units. Ordered units may move up to 3 hexes and not battle. 3 hexes and not battle. Well, I need to keep him here on this side, but I can't move up because there's people in the way. This guy could move up to 3 and not battle, or may not move and battle with up to 3 and not battle. So if I move him, let's say here, I can do that, but not battle. Well, I'll take it. And then these guys can battle. With how many? With 2 additional dice? That's awesome. Foot, these are both foot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Each thing is 3 hexes away. Range in hex is 3, so that's 2 dice. But with that +2, that's 4 dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4 dice for each of those. All right. All right, so range, we need this here. What do we get? We got nothing there, but we got a hit and a shock. So now this 3 becomes a 2. This 2 becomes a 3. Uh-oh. You've heard me talk about it, and now it's happened. He is broken because his shock level is now higher than his strength. So now he retreats, whereas Anyway, it's just better like this, trust me. How far does he retreat? He retreats 2 hexes. And then each rally attempt that is failed, he will retreat 1 hex until he retreats off the map. I need to remember that he is broken if I face him this way. Because you got to figure, there's an aesthetic thing that you have to bear in mind. I mean, it would be easy to fill each hex up with 15 different markers, but then you've got a game board full of markers and not so many units. So various ways to do this. One of the cool things about hexes is the placement of the unit within the hex is also an option. So if you placed a unit right up to the front vertex, that could count for something if they were in the center, if they were in the rear vertex. That's doable as well. All right, so they broke and routed. And luckily for them, they routed right to a hex with a leader. Isn't that nice? If they could not have routed because units were in the way, then they would lose a strength point for each hex they couldn't route. Now it's this guy, and it's going to be 4 as well, right? Except I messed up and fired, and I'm not gonna redo this. So here's what I did. I fired. What I should have done is fire with this guy, which left line of sight with this guy. But because I'm running my mouth too much tonight, I did this wrong. I fired with this guy at the guy that just routed, which left this guy no line of sight to fire at this guy. That's the breaks, you know. I'm giving it to the Prussians because I'm not paying attention. Again, running my mouth too much. So that's bombard for the French. Go back to the Prussians. That's fair. You know, if I was playing with a real opponent, it would probably be the same deal. Of course, he probably would have said, why are you firing with that unit at that unit? But what do the Prussians want to do as a response? Can they do anything? Yes, they can. They can use this probe right flank and move up 2 units. And what units do we have that want to move up? Probe right flank and move up 2 units. So since this is commands and colors but not commands and colors, your next question might be, when would these guys rally? And that would be a valid question. Because I'm not really playing my rules, just part of those rules. So I could say an activation would count as a rally, would count as an activation. So where I have 2 units I can activate over here, if I activated him, that would be my rally attempt. Do it like that. I'm not pulling this militia infantry up. I'm pulling this light lancer cavalry up. 1, 2, 3, in an attempt to charge this foot artillery unit here, but all I've really effectively done is place myself right down the front of the barrels of those artillery, so that's probably not good. That's 1. And I do believe they move 3. I'll check my math in a second. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll move them up as well. That gets our cavalry out of the corner of nothing going on land into something might gonna happen land. Alright, that's 3 and 3. And do they move 3? Watch, they probably don't even move. Yes, they do. Light lancer, light cav, they all move up to 3. So that's my 2 there. Chuck that, pull this. Back to the French time stamp. 40 minutes, really? That's it? Alright. What do the French want to do? Well, if I can. And now look, I can't. See, that's one of the few clever things about the commands and colors system. is not always being able to do what you want to do. And I've incorporated that into my rules as well with random activation, not knowing uh, how many or yeah, how many units will activate. You're always allowed a minimum of one, even if you miss all your activation rolls. But one activation compared to 4 or 5 or 6 could mean a world of difference. What am I looking at here? Let's go. Let's get rid of. I got 2 scout right flank cards, and they're not doing me any good. So let's get rid of one of them and move him up one. I gotta try and intervene against this Prussian strong, very strong Prussian left flank. I have to say the Prussians overall are strong. I think the French need to probably do what they historically did and hunker down in the town, little villages. All right, that's the end of that. Back to the Prussians. Very weak and brief French move. Prussians have probe left flank with 2. Let's do that. Because it's to their advantage to do so. Probe left flank with 2. If I move with this light infantry unit here, that will be good, and I'll show you why in a second. 1, 1, 2. If I don't move, I can fire again at full strength. Let's do that. All right. You know what? I am taking this back. Because I get that battle back if you move adjacent. So if I just do ranged combat, I can fire at full strength, except for the hill. So essentially what they did the last time they did something is what's going on here. Let's go with the light infantry unit at 4. Would be 5, but they got a hill to deal with. So it's just 4, right? Correct. Just 4. It could be bad though. It could be deadly, and it might. We got a hit and a hit. Can I afford 2 hits? Yes, they can. That's 4 drops to a 2. Not done though. We have this reserve infantry unit firing at 3. Would be 4, but again, the hill. What the hell? Reserve. Where is reserve? Okay, yeah, just 1 die per block. What'd they get? A miss, and a, shock level is beyond unit strength. And guess what? He's going to, he just almost retreats off map. If he fails his rally attempt, he's gone. That is some exciting, weird, wild stuff right there. Good job, Prussians. Who last night during the test run, I ran through some of the scenario, and they just lit the French up. I mean, the French couldn't do anything right, and that was using the rules I was working on. But I had like 3 or 4 French units knocked out, no Prussian casualties. It was just weird. Back to the French, we have a big, massive discard. 2, 4, 6 units can activate. 2 on the left, 2 on the center, 2 on the right. Let's do it. 2 on the left, 2 on the center, 2 on the right. Again, for those of you that are still watching, means a lot. Appreciate it. Monday night here in New Orleans, we're delving into some Napoleonics. In a cold, wet, pretty much just dark period of the season. Dreary outside. Let's see, 1, 2 on the left. What about, you know what? Sorry, Prussian cavalry, but you may be done after that. Try and rally him, just so you guys can see what's up. And this guy says 2 on the right. 2 in the center. As I'm fond of saying, just hanging back here doing nothing. Doesn't do anybody any good. I heard a noise. It sounded like a camera shifting. I don't know what that represents. But everything looks good still. Alright, I'll let it go. Oh, that's what it is. Card fell on the floor. Horse artillery 2 and not battle, correct? Correct. His move is complete. With his 3 strength. And foot artillery 1, period. That's it, no more. He's moving. God, what a stupid move. I mean, a lateral move doesn't really do anybody any good. But he's definitely not doing any good where he was either. So that's done for the center. Maybe poor decisions, we'll find out. So this shock, right? His shock level is 3, his strength is 2, he's broken, he's routing. How do you rally? A couple of ways you can do this. Oddly enough, at the end of the day, what I think I've decided on and I'm most fond of is you take number of d6 equal to your shock level, which is 3. You roll them. For each 5 or 6 you roll, you subtract 1 level of shock. If you are incapable of doing that, you route 1 hex. If you are successful in removing 1 or more shock, the unit is functional once again. However, he's still on the threshold here because he has a strength of 2 with a level 2 shock. And again, these are my little supplementary rules that are in the black hat rules that I've come up with. But tonight I'm going, for the most part, just old school commands and colors. I'll be honest with you, I saw somebody playing it on YouTube, and I thought, yeah, you know, just for old time's sake, for giggles, let me just play it the way it's meant to be played. For nostalgia's sake, just to do it. All right, so he moved, so he can fire two dice. He's going to fire at that light infantry unit that has been deadly. He gets a 10, which is terrible. But he also gets a 4, which is not nothing. It is 1 level of shock. But still not very good. And then, so that's the center and the right. Here's the bad stuff. All right. Foot artillery. It's going to be 2 dice. Well, no, it's not. Range and hexes is 2. It's going to be 3 dice for each of those guys. Starting with the unit on the left here. Firing at cavalry, though, is a little trickier. Your combat results are going to be a bit more hard to achieve. A 9 is definitely nothing. A 3 and a 4 is 2 levels of shock on a 3 strength unit, so you know where we're at already almost. That guy's probably going to rout, right? After this next round of fire, it's probably going to be the case. What did I say? 3 dice? So here's the next unit. Firing 3 dice, and he gets 9, which is nothing, a 10, which is nothing, and a 6, which is nothing. So see there? French light Lancer cavalry gets lucky with their bold, all-out frontal assault charge on some French foot artillery, 2 units of it. Very bold indeed. 2, 3, 4. Back to the Prussians. And, Christ. Okay. Here's my question. How about that? You're not going to be able to form square. because that's not infantry. So, let's go ahead and see what happens here. Prussians are going to use attack right flank, which allows 3 activations on the right. One of them, of course, will be this light lancer cavalry unit that will officially charge this foot artillery unit here. You know what? So will that. Can I? Cannot. I cannot do that. So what will I do? We'll fire with this. He's still on the right. And we'll, excuse me, try and rally. This guy here is 3, right? Yeah, 3 shocks. So we roll 3d6, looking for 5s or 6s. Got nothing. He routes 1 more. Oh, he routes off map. Wow. Brutality there. He's gone. That's our first casualty. He just routed off map. So although he wasn't effectively eliminated, he still counts for a victory banner for purposes of that. Where did I put him? Put him in the dead field here. Because he routed off map. Have I stated that clearly enough? And we get 1. I don't have any Prussian victory banners handy. We'll just use British for now. I'll have to get them down. And then we'll fire with these guys. That's 4 dice. Saving the cavalry charge for last. Yes, 4 dice. Coming at this 2 strength line infantry unit. He could knock it out with this. I'm not going to do it with a 6 or a 9 or a 6. But he gets a 5. It's 1 level of shock. So 2 more levels of shock. And he routes. Here's the charge, guys. Ready? Boom. Light Lancer Cav. I don't know how this works, though. 2 and 3. They can't form square, I know that. So is it just normal melee? It's got to be. It's just normal melee. If you can't form square. So what is that? He's still a 3 strength. Full strength, huh? Full strength it is. 3 melee. Here we go. You know what? I gotta pause and make sure I'm doing this right. So we pause and check the rules here on this cavalry charge versus artillery. All right, you connoisseurs of the Napoleonic type may not agree with this. I don't know that I do either, but according to the rules, we'll attack with our Prussian cavalry here, but the French foot artillery will get to battle back with 4 battle dice. So let's do this first. Prussians 3. Right here. Okay, now we're good. Now we get a 10, which is nothing, a 1, and a 3, which are 2 hits. Down to 1. If we consider this simultaneous combat, which I'm going to consider, they still battle with 4 dice. And they get, oh Lord, they got all 4 hits. So this Prussian light lancer cavalry unit is gone. That's 2 banners. And again, we can argue amongst ourselves long into the night about how that just worked. I've already said I don't know that I agree with that. You can say, oh, well, they are firing with canister, because you can make the argument artillery is virtually ineffective once it gets to melee range. They would have probably just retreated. Or I don't know, maybe that's what would have happened, who knows. But it didn't suit the Prussians well at all. Now I have a score of 2 victory banners to... Actually, it's tied 2-2 because... no, it's not. It's 4 French have 4 victory banners. Here's why. For the 2 units that have been affected accordingly, but they also control the majority of town and Windmill Hill hexes. So they're not 4. They're almost halfway to their requirement. About 55 minutes in. Let me take another sip. That brings us to back to the French, right? 2, 3, 4, draw a new card. Feels like it was a French turn. Rally cavalry charge. French don't have cavalry that can charge in range. All they have really, which is odd in my opinion, for this battle is 2 light units way back here. I don't know. Does me no good to charge with this card here. Assault right flank is still not interesting to me. Rally, yeah, no. Not doing that. I'm chucking that card because I rally differently. Assault left flank. Could do that, right? Do I want to? Here, let's do this. Scout right flank, 1 unit. Let's try and scout right flank 1 unit. So that's 4 dice that we can throw at that light unit there. Let's see what we can do with that. I feel good about this. Here's why. I don't know why I felt good about that. Actually, yeah. Here's why. Look, 3 levels of shock and 1 hit. Let's translate that. That 4 becomes a 3 because of the 1 hit. And did I say 3 levels of shock? Yes. Add that to the already 1 level of shock makes 4 levels of shock. And if you guys have been paying attention, he has broken and is now routing. However, he has units in his way, so he can't route there. So he loses 1 strength because of that condition, drops him to a 2 strength. 1, 2. He makes his 2 hex route. Actually, he could go here to the leader. Russians are good at routing right to the leaders. And if and when it comes time for him to rally, since his shock break factor is at 4, he would roll how many? 4 dice 6. Looking for 5s or 6s, so good job there with the French. Back to the Prussians. I don't want to go too long with this. I just want to keep this around an hour, so I'll look to cut this off here for too long. Call me crazy, but doing long form videos, you'll have your couple of dedicated viewers that will sit through the whole thing, but for the most part, it's almost a kind of a waste to do because people will get bored. They're not going to sit through the whole thing. I mean, hour is probably pushing it. But again, for those of you that are still with us, it is appreciated. It's Prussian's turn here in Grossbeeren, 23rd of August, 1813. The French are cleaning up nicely. Let's keep it simple, stupid, and do, for the Prussians, probe center. And we can do that by, let's take Windmill Hill. It's time. No more messing around. He only has 2 strength, though. And because he's attacking, well, you know, I can't do that. There's not enough strength there for him to do that. Really? And he only has 1 strength? Wow, okay, if you say so. What is it, 2? I could fire with this light infantry unit. That's a good deal. I could not fire with him. What do I want to do here? Do I even want to use that card at this point? I don't know that I do, looking at my options, but four or fewer. 1 would be 1, 2, 3. 4, fire and hold. Trying to determine which card would be best to use. Now I'm thinking this fire and hold card. Let's do that, fire and hold. Fire and hold, that allows me to activate 4 units for ranged combat. And they'll do so with 1 additional die. Can't move though, so that'll be, this guy will fire. This guy will fire. This guy will fire. And these here artillery fellers are going to fire real good. Alright, so let's fire starting from my left to right with the artillery units. Foot artillery, of course, and they are 3 hexes away. That makes 2 dice. Firing at artillery, fire versus. Again, harder to achieve results here, but not impossible. We did get 1 level of shock. For this guy who already has a strength of 1, so he's going to break here before too long. 1 more shock level when he routes, breaks and routes. Breaks and routes. It's like a war game serial. Alright, then we go 4 dice here. Let's do it. 4 dice. Oh, I forgot my battle with 1 extra die. That was nothing. Alright, so 5 dice. And much better, easier to obtain results firing at infantry. 8's not going to do it though, nor are 3 9s. But we did get 1 hit. So now he's right on the threshold with a strength of 1 and a shock level of 1, so he will break and rout soon. And, oh wow, this guy here is going to clean up. Light infantry, strength of 3, gets +1 for being light infantry is 4, gets +1 because of the card, gets 5. Let's see what he does. Can he take advantage of all these dice? Yes, he maybe can. 2 hits and 2 shock. This guy drops from a 3 to a 1. And 2 shock. Now once you go, he's already at 2. So how do you work that? Do you add the shock that he got? Yes, you do. 2 levels of shock is what he got, right? No, 3. 2 hits and 2. So it would be 4. So here's something that might be needed to be ironed out. If you fire more, if you achieve more shock levels than are required to break a unit, do you go ahead and add those so that it's harder to rally, or do you cap it and stop as soon as it exceeds its unit strength? Something to consider. And these, these ponderables might be headachy for some people, but I'd have to say I find them enjoyable. They're like little puzzles I have to figure out. Ooh, our second tree of the night has fallen over. In the future, when I play this, we're going to do shots, and even though I hate shots, so I probably won't do shots. Every time a tree falls over, we're going to do a shot. That would be our second shot of the night. So that's that. And then finally, this guy over here, this reserve infantry with a 4 strength, drops to 3 because of the hill, goes back to 4 because of the bonus card. What does he get? 9. Nothing. Shock, shock, and hit. So he drops from a 4 to a 3. And 2 levels of shock. So he's close to breaking and routing. He's not on the threshold, but he's close. So there's that. That's the end of the Prussian turn. This is going to be the last turn. My back's starting to stiffen up. I still have to do yoga. Yeah, that's a thing. I'll tell you about it sometime. Thought about even filming the yoga I do, but I'm sure you guys would get a kick out of that, watching me stretch all over the floor. Alright, for the final turn of the night, which is the French turn, we have an assault left flank, which would allow 1, 2, all all the units on the left to activate, which would be 4 total. Assault right flank, which would be 3. Attack center, which would be 3. I think attack center is what needs to happen, because that's where the action Jackson is. Attack center 3. We can fire with this artillery. We can fire with these guys. Now you might say, well, you can melee with them. Yeah, but then they battle back. So maybe that's a glitch that you can opt not to do that and just conduct ranged combat. You might consider that a glitch, or not, don't know. Talk amongst yourselves. One die here, that's all we got coming. That's nothing. 4 dice here. Should yield something. Grenadiers firing straight ahead. Get, Jesus, an 8 and 9, which is nothing. A hit and a shock. Hit and a shock. 1 shock. 1 hit. That 2 goes down to 1. So they're right at 1 and 1. Meaning they have 1 level of shock and 1 strength left. And then oh, my back. Yeah, I have back issues bad. Let's see. Just the slight leaning forward that I've been doing is really irritating my back. But it feels so good to stretch it out. Final maneuver of the night, this foot artillery unit firing 2 hexes away. It's going to get 3 dice. Firing straight ahead at a Prussian line unit with a strength of 2 and a shock level of 2. So they're on the threshold. Something's going to happen. And it will, with 1 hit. No, 1 hit and 1 shock. He's only going to drop to a 1, but he's definitely broken in routing. Goes from a 2 to a 3. And we'll route him, but there's another thing. He cannot route because he has units in the way, so he has to lose a strength point for each hex he cannot route. Well, guess what? Being as he only has 1 strength unit left, he's done. That means the French have achieved, another shot. That would be 3 shots. French have achieved 5 victory banners. They're halfway there. The Prussians have none. I don't know what's going on. It's all mayhem and chaos right now. More trees fell. So that would have been our 3rd shot of the evening. Next time we play this, I'm going to do it live. And we're going to implement that shot thing. Again, I don't know that I'll be doing the shots, but you kids out there can play amongst yourselves and do the shot game. That's it. I'm cutting it. I'm calling it. Recap. French have attained 5 of a required 10 victory banners. The Prussians have none. A very different result from last night. I primarily used the commands and colors system overall, accepting the combat system, and which entails shock and breaking and routing, which we've demonstrated. But that's where we're at. A lot of fun. What's in store for next time? I don't know. Who's to say? I'm a strange guy. All right, y'all. That's all I got. I'm going to cut you loose. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you next time.